I think the Republicans nationally and locally are on an ascendancy. We hold more governorships across the country than has ever happened. We hold more state legislative houses than has ever happened before. Speaker Boehner is presiding over the largest Republican majority since the 1920s. And that tells you an awful lot about the mood of the country. It doesn't mean that they've given Republicans a blank check in terms of governance, but it is sending a message to politicians on both sides of the aisle that we're uncomfortable with where things are. So we may give you a chance. I think we've got a fantastic field. And you know, I could pick 6 or 7 individuals that if they were our nominee and won the presidency, I would be perfectly comfortable with them in the Oval Office because I know enough about them as a person, their issues, their governance style, and having been in the White House for 8 years, that stuff matters. That said, not that my voice matters, but I think Jeb Bush is probably our likely nominee, and I think the country would be well served by having him on day one as president because there's less of a learning curve as president that Jeb would have. The skill set he brings to manage all the different personalities in the House, not only within the Republican conference, but also within the Democrat caucus, because he's the Speaker of the entire House, is unique. And it is sometimes frustrating to people because votes don't go well on the floor, and is that a failure? To him, it's not a failure. It's a success of the institution. You know, you can't force people to do things they don't want to do, and so you've got to bring them along. And at the end of the day, I think history will look back and say that he was trying to restore the power of the members and restore the power of the institution. The most prominent thing they did was that when they came in, they stopped the kind of unchecked spending that the Democrats and President Obama had instituted. You know, people have forgotten this, but the 2011 budget agreement between Speaker Boehner and President Obama cut $2.4 trillion over 10 years out of our budget. And that's the greatest single reduction, either in real dollars or as percentage of the budget that has ever happened in our history. And we're now, you know, going 4 years on to this, and the agreement has still held. I think the biggest challenge right now is that and any institution faces this in Washington when they're a new majority, is they feel like they need to take on responsibility for governing. Well, the truth is, you know, the first 2 years that Boehner was Speaker, and the second 2 years he was Speaker, he didn't have a Republican Senate, he didn't have a Republican White House, and yet he was supposed to be the guy making government work. And he understood that, but a lot of the members of the Republican conference didn't. And so, you know, we're going to force the Senate to do something, or we're going to force the president. And I've always said, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years. When your strategy is predicated on you're going to force somebody to do something, you're pretty much doomed to failure. Because the way our government is set up, the presidency, the Senate, the House are independent institutions, and they will do what they want to do. You can only force them if they want to be forced.